Hello, welcome to Friday, the last day of the week for us at Rose and Carter do the JOB. Tag team day, Bully's pick this week of the Bushwhackers / Sheephearders. Fabulous pick, I think. And
you are.
There's normally one match out of the four that we watch that's fucking ropey, isn't there? You know, or not as good as the others. But for me, all four of these were bouting proper. You know, just right my cup of tea. Just brilliant stuff.
Yeah, I enjoyed all four of mine. My first one was more of a squash. I say squash. It was a rather one-sided match, but everything I still enjoyed it. But yeah, all of them were fucking. But to be fair, you can't really go wrong with the Bushwhackers, can you? To be honest, so.
Like, here's what I found with Bushwhackers. People's thoughts on the Bushwhackers, right?
I reckon I know what you're going to say, but carry on.
Right. You can't please them, right? Because the old fans that remember the Sheephearders, right, are like, oh yeah, they went to the WWF and became the Bushwhackers, comedies, bullshit, right? And the new fans that only know the Bushwhackers, yeah, you can't tell about the Sheephearders because they just don't fucking believe it, right? The difference in styles, you know, you can't fucking please them. But for me, I enjoyed both aspects of it, and they are totally different. And sometimes they do get shit on for the, inverted commas comedy thing. It's the greatest thing they could have ever possibly done, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I always see what you're on about, the comments from like the older fans and stuff. And it's not necessarily just the older fans, it's the newer fans that have seen the Sheephearders that still shit on the Bushwhackers. And they'll say stuff like you're saying, like they went to the WWF and they always blame Vince, like Vince fucked them up or whatever. But Vince done that with everyone. Like he gave everyone a gimmick. Like people would say the same stuff about Rick Martel. Like I preferred him before, but then he became a model. It's like he was fucking brilliant as the model. Like, and the Sheephearders, I think if you're a wrestling fan and don't respect how they switch from the Sheephearders to the Bushwhackers, because you can't imagine them as the Sheephearders after the Bushwhackers, I think you're a fucking idiot if you like shit on it, because they made more money, no doubt, and sold way more merch as the Bushwhackers than fucking loads more. And they were so popular, they didn't need to be fucking having these 20-minute bloodbaths and shit as the Bushwhackers, because they were so over.
The WWF wouldn't have sniffed at the Sheephearders, though, would they?
They
wouldn't have even looked at the Sheephearders.
Not during that time.
People shit over the style and the fucking, but they only shit on that because it's different to what they did before. If it was a new tag team, there'd be fucking, two other people. But I don't think it could have been two other people because they just fit everything about it. They were household names. And like we said before about, Hogan and Warrior and those kind of people, Duggan. My mom knew who they are because of the dad, right? Because of the arms.
Exactly. Like I see
who they were, and she don't watch wrestling for shit, then it's fucking iconic. Everybody knows who the Bushwhackers is.
Exactly. Everyone, like fucking everyone. You could go down the fucking street and talk, just ask anyone who's not even a wrestling fan back in the early 90s who the Bushwhackers were. They're gonna know who they are. Just like they'll know who Jim Duggan was and who Macho Man was. All these household names. The Bushwhackers were right up there with all them names. Like,
I mean, they might not get things exactly right, but there's the fella that rips the shirt off with the fucking moustache. There's the one with the face paint on that goes, Rrr. There's the dude with the board, in with the shears, and the fucking them two that do the fucking walking, isn't it? They're iconic. They always will be. Like everybody knows who they are.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. There's a very few people like that. There's like a handful of people of that ilk, and they're definitely one of them. Like as far as their accomplishments goes, right? Controversially, I'm not a Road Warriors fan, right? And people always go, greatest fucking tag team in the world ever, most decorated, 4,000 billion championships, right? These dudes have been there and fucking done it and won every fucking thing along the way. They started tagging in 1966. Just imagine that. When they got to the WWF, right, they'd already done 22 years as a team. It's mad, isn't it? And now people don't even last 22 years, do they? They don't even fucking wrestle for 22 years. They give up after a fortnight. Right, so between 66 and 75, they were known as the Kiwis and wrestled, initially in New Zealand, where they're from. Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, Grand Prix wrestling for the Vashons. Join us next week for that, shizzle. And Stampede in the early 70s. Just imagine that. In the first less than 10 years, you've been to all those countries. I mean, that's pretty fucking rare in itself, isn't it? To get that, well-travelled in such a short time. And then from about 78, they returned to New Zealand with a stop off in all Japan on the way and Hawaii. And that they're now known as the Sheephearders. You see, they developed the new name. Portland, California, and Vancouver. Next up was the Crockett's. 1981, across to Puerto Rico they go, where they're known as, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but I'll give it a bash, Los Pastores, which means shepherd in Spanish. Makes sense, doesn't it? Right, so it's now 1981, right? 66 to 81, and they've added more fucking countries and places on there. Top territories, not like piss pot fucking outlaw bullshit. This is like top territories. They started in the NWA New Zealand as well, so right from the start they were off. Now in New Zealand, with Butch Miller in 1981, Butch Miller wanted to be closer to home. And you can't blame him because he'd done 15 years all over the shop, right? So off he went back to New Zealand, and Jonathan Boyd was brought in. And he joined the team to become, the second group with Luke Williams in the southeastern area. I love me some southeastern stuff, mate. Fucking brilliant. They were in a feud with the Fabs, which started in Memphis, Lawlers and Jarrett's. Some bouting matches there, but I went other territories as well. I've seen them from Florida and so, other territories. And then Boyd broke his leg in a car accident. So in 1984, I think it was, Butch came back and joined Luke again in Southwest, the Blanchard's territory in Texas, which I believe Luke booked at some point or another. He booked in Puerto Rico and Southwest at various points. So yeah, the team is back together now. They do Southwest and then back to Puerto Rico again for WWC, which is Carlos Colon, isn't it? So 85 with the soon-to-be Bushwhackers combination in Puerto Rico. There was a second Sheephearders team of Boyd and Rip Morgan, who's Butch's nephew, who was in the royal family with Jack Victory and stuff, wasn't he? In Memphis. So there was two Sheepherder teams now. 86, the original team went to Bill Watts' UWF, still Puerto Rico, Florida. Returned to the CWA after the short-lived team of Boyd and Morgan had gone, which must have been fuck confusing for the CWA Memphis fans because they'd already seen the Luke and Boyd team, and then they got the Boyd and Morgan team, and now they're getting the fucking Luke and Butch team. They had a brief trip to New Japan in 87, Puerto Rico and Florida as well. They finished off, the pre-WWF stuff in the UWF, and, what would become the NWA really before WCW, wouldn't it? Because what sold to the NWA and yada yada, all that went down. Signed with the WWF in 1988, debuted in 1989, very early on. I haven't written down what happened there because fuck me, I'll be there all day, wouldn't I? Because they had a hell of a run, to be fair. They were there till 96. 95 and 96 were less prominent. primarily used on house shows and stuff, but they were still there, weren't they? After the WWF, they did the independents. Puerto Rico still. They wrestled on Terry Funk's WrestleFest, which, have you seen that Terry Funk's WrestleFest?
I don't think I have.
It's, the Bret and Terry Funk match.
Right. Like Funk's like first retirement or one of his retirement matches.
Retirement, yeah.
Yeah, I've not actually seen it. I don't even think I might have seen that match, but I don't think I've seen the show.
Right. The Bushwhackers were on with the Youngbloods. And, the Youngbloods were pretty over in that area. And the Bushwhackers become heels again, which was really cool to see. Because they come out all bushwhackery babyfacey giving it a go, and it doesn't work, and they fucking, they got the fucking savvy enough to do it. They did ECW in '98, where they were Dudley Boys. Heroes of Wrestling, the pay-per-view. WrestleMania 17, the Battle Royal. And they did a UK tour in '01 as like the Bushwhackers farewell. WWE Hall of Fame, of course, in 2015. Fucking hell, that's a hell of a run in it. 66, they started as a tag team. I mean, there's not many places on that list that they've not been, is there? They've not succeeded. You know what I mean? They've not succeeded. They won the fucking championships everywhere they went, other than the WWF, which again, people go, oh, they're never tag team champions. They didn't fucking need them, did they?
No, some people, you think like some wrestlers, and especially from that era that they're in, loads of people never became champion, like that they didn't need to. Jake Roberts, fucking, I know Roddy Piper had the IC title, but never the world. It's like loads of people back then didn't need the titles,
Like, I normally write the championships on the, same page, but I've had to do another page for these bad boys. Strap yourself in. Right, this is just the Luke and Butch combination, bear in mind.
Yeah.
APWF Tag Team Champions, I've had them as well in 2002. How cool am I to have the same championship as the Bushwhackers? Thank you. The Can-Am Tag Team, these are all Tag Team Champions. Can-Am, CWA in Memphis, Florida Tag Team Champion for the NWA, NWA US Tag Team Champions, the Florida version, IWA, NWA Mid-Atlantic, NWA All-Star in Vancouver, NWA Pacific Northwest 3 times, Stampede twice, Southwest, UCW, USWL, UWF Watsies twice, WWA twice, WWC North American in Puerto Rico 4 times, WWC World twice. That's just Luke and Butch. And they had 9. There was 9 other titles for the other 2 combinations. So that's like 30 odd. Fuck you, Legion of Doom. PWI ranked them 71 in the top 100 of tag teams. And I understand them being lower because they did get that comedy tarnish. I get that. I understand that. They were in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame of 2020, not the WWF one, but another one. Sounds like more of a wrestling one, oddly. Northwest Tag Team of the Year, 79 and 90. Now, let me tell you about what David fucking bullshit Meltzer says for the Observer. This is what the Observer have given the Bushwhackers. Worst tag team in 92 and 94, and the worst match for being the Doinks in 93. Now, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That match with the Doinks is hilarious. I'm happy with that.
To be honest, I think fucking, what is it? I think Scott Steiner said something about Dave Meltzer, and I wrote it on Facebook, and it was accurate as fuck. It was something like he just said that too many people listen to Dave Meltzer or something along them lines. And it's like, like for someone that's never done it himself, but everyone takes his word for gospel. I stopped caring about what Meltzer fucking wrote years ago, to be fair, because there was a time I thought like I looked at his word as being okay, that's fucking facts. It's like I didn't know any better, but over the years, after reading what he's put, I'm like, nah, he's just fucking. He's no one in my fucking in my eyes. To be fair,
It's only what he's told anyway, so it's not like news because it's just news that he's been told. So you could just get a fucking insider that tells you any old bullshit. Fucking yeah, 4 matches, belting. What was your first one?
my first one from Mid South, possibly like UWF. I think it when they were there, weren't it? Yeah. Against the Bruise Brothers.
The Blues Brothers, the 2 black dudes.
Yeah, not to be
not Eli and Jacob.
Yeah, not them ones, the other ones. So,
who were they? The Blue Pork Chop Cash and someone.
Yeah, I can't remember the names, but it was quite weird because I think I may have seen them before, but not much. But they were like fucking. They basically jobbed out in pretty. They didn't really have much of a, which was quite weird because they were over as fuck coming to the ring and the crowd were loving them. They're doing their old fucking dancing and all the little fucking 2-steps and shit they're doing. Crowd were right into them and then they just kind of.
I think the Sheephearders were new, so it's just to get them over big, like.
I think so, possibly, yeah. But the match starts with Butch. I've just put starts on 1. I don't know who he is because I couldn't tell him apart. I didn't know who. I didn't know the names anyway. So he starts him with one of them. Just starts beating the fuck out of him straight away. Whips him off, gives him a back elbow. There's a tiny little fight back by one of them, but Butch ain't having that. He's like, nah, you're all right. So fucking just takes back over on him. Tags in Luke. Luke's all over him now. Whips off, gives him a double chop to the throat. Fucking whips him off again. This was quite like. This was all right because like going into like the tag, he's taking heat, he's taking a bit off Butch, he's taking a bit off Luke. So now Luke like whips him off the ropes, and like to get the tag after taking a little heat, you're gonna do a little something like even if it's just a drop kick or a fucking flying clothesline or something. So Luke whips him off. He goes for a clothesline. This guy just rolls under the clothesline, then rolls under another clothesline, then he fucking tags. So he didn't get any offense in at all. He just he just like got out the way of a couple of lines or something, then tags in the guy who's the bigger one, like on the apron. So that's how he comes in. The bigger one comes in, gives a shoulder tackle to both of the Sheephearders. Boom, boom. And then he goes for another one in the corner. But one of the Sheephearders moves, he hits the corner, and then the Sheephearders are back in control. They do a battering ram, boom, couple of quick tags, and then they finish it with the gut buster, like the double gut buster on the like double knees for a 3 count. It was really enjoyable, very one-sided. Like the Bruise Brothers didn't have fuck all in it, really. But I did enjoy it. It was fun. And the Bruise Brothers were very over, like even though they jobbed out in pretty quick fashion. But yeah, I can't knock it. It was real simple but fun.
Boom. My first one comes 1985. I think it said. That's all I can tell you as far as the date goes. From the Savaldi's ICW promotion. Now I picked this one because we used to have ICW on late night TV. I said about the various promotions that we had in the middle of the night. This was one of them that was on. For about,
when you had them fucking promotions in the middle of the night and stuff, like what like year was that ish? Like
89 to maybe 91, 92.
Because I got into wrestling around about 91 and I don't remember shit. Like, I mean, I was really young.
2 o'clock in the morning. They didn't advertise it really, other than what you saw in the newspaper. The tiny writing at the bottom of the fucking, you get Robert Kilroy fucking repeat from earlier on, some programs for the deaf, Job Finder, fucking top 40 from America, some bullshit like that. It wasn't a cared about show. It was just chuck the show on because it's a filler. But there were so many promotions that would just do like, a month or 6 weeks at a time.
Literally, I was just WWF because I didn't know any. I know WCW was on, wasn't it on like daytime Saturdays or something? WCW. I mean.
That wasn't until like later on though, 92, 93 or whatever.
Yeah, because I just remember Superstars, WWF, like Sky One, like 10 o'clock on a Friday night. That's what I used to watch, but I didn't watch any.
Not having Sky or cable or whatever, so we just had to. I had to rely on whatever I can get hold of.
Yeah, you see, like when I grew up in an army camp, and we didn't have Sky in our house, but every house on the camp had Sky One. I think it was just like a fucking satellite dish that gave that channel to like all the houses like on the army camp. So I didn't have Sky itself, but we had Sky One. That's how I could watch it. So yeah.
Yeah, but like those late nights proper opened up my eyes to wrestling because we saw so much. You know what I mean? Like, there was the Global Wrestling Alliance from Florida that was run by Boris Malenko. You know, that had fucking great people like Norman Smiley. First time I saw him was on that. Amazing. These shows, which were rougher than any other shows that I'd seen before, because the rest were kind of like more family stuff. But this was like, you know, you got Kevin Sullivan and Mark Lewin and, you know, the psycho kind of fucking gimmicks on these. Just amazing. Fucking that proper opened up my eyes to wrestling, because like I said, I always thought it was just American wrestling was WWF, British wrestling was what we had until '88 on TV. You know, then it became the NWA on the late night, and then it was all sorts from there. Fucking it's your fucking oyster from there. ICW Savaldi. So I remember this from the from on being on TV, this match, and I've got it on a video, like compilation video that I've got. So they're the Sheephearders, obviously, against Al Perez and Joe Savaldi, known as the Rock and Roll Rockers, which I'd have thought was cashing in on the Rock and Roll Express success in '85. You know, they had the bandanas around the legs and all that shit going on. But hell of a team. Les Thatcher is the commentator. He does a promo with the Rock and Roll Rockers at the start, who are the tag team. You know, generic babyface promo. So Butch and Al Perez start. Massive Al Perez fan. Butch whips straight off. Bosh, have some of that. Tackle. Luke gets in. Snapmare, chin lock. Turns into a headlock. Gets whipped off. Tackle. Out with a drop kick. Have some of that. Hip toss. And takes the head with an headlock takeover. Luke reverses that in some fashion, so he now has Al's head. Now, back towards the ropes, Al does the blind tag to Joe Savaldi. This is fucking good little spot, this bad boy. Nice. Just very, very smooth, very pretty looking, you know. Tag to Joe. Off goes Luke. Al Perez sleeps. Over goes Luke. Fucking drop kick from Joe. Simplest of things, but that sort of tag beauty is lost, isn't it? It's so simple that anyone can do it, really. But nobody does it because it's not fucking. There's no fucking flips, is there? So why would you?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like simple shit like that, people don't want to do because it's simple, and that's the thing. Like people try to overcomplicate a little, you know, some things like that. But it's like sometimes simple's good. Like you know what I mean? It makes sense. It's good, and people can react to it because it's not fucking. They're not looking at it thinking what's going on here. Like it's easy to like take in, you know. But yeah,
if you do something simple really well, it's like food. Like simple food cooked well is better than all this shit with a million different ingredients in. You know what I mean? So Joe then takes the head of Luke. Luke tags, but he's met with a big crossbody from. As Butch gets in, he's met with a big crossbody from Joe. Butch is all pissed off now. He's unloading. Bish bash bosh. Tags Luke in. There's a whip. Joe leaps. Joe drop kicks. Very, very good leap on that Joe Savaldi. Luke's on top for a bit, but he sunset flips Butch a bit later on. There's a bit of a hope. Joe blocks the head in the buckle and sends Butch in a few times. Joe takes the head and he's whipped into Luke, who does the old kick in the back gimmick. This is the first point that I noticed that Jonathan Boyd is next to the ring. All the sheepherders now, it's all sheepherders now. You know, quick tags in, fucking great attacks and double team shit. There's a backbreaker by Butch. There's a whip, a kick by Joe, but he can't quite tag. You know, that's another thing. Normally, that cut-off point, there's a tag. And there's never the almost a tag, or rarely is there almost a tag. You know what I mean? It's always fucking tag. And, you know, I quite like that there was a couple of attempts for Joe. And it not quite, you know, just fucking fractionally off. Luke and Joe in now. Joe's in trouble. Joe kicks Luke again. Still can't quite tag. Exactly the same situation. Proper good Nick. Butch does these great things. He whips the dude to the ropes and then holds on to him. And as they come back, knees him in the belly.
Yeah.
Joe ducks Luke's elbow and comes back with one of his own. Pop. Now he's got a chance, hasn't he? Fucking tag. Not like a tag. That's the other thing. On the double down, there's a tag to the baby heels, then a tag to the baby faces. That's the fucking standard unwritten rule. It's written on some wall in fucking some cave somewhere, innit? But there was no heel tag here. Don't fucking need one, do you? Al comes in, bish bash bosh. He's fucking cleaning everyone's clocks. Elbow, drop kick. Then he boshes an abdominal stretch on Butch. Joe's with Luke now. The referee's trying to get Joe out of the ring because they don't give a fuck what the heels do they? They always put the baby faces out. Butch swings. Butch has got like a gimmick from, I'm guessing, Boyd. We didn't see that happen, but he's got some gimmick in his hand. He swings. Al ducks. The sleeper's on. But Luke cuts that off. Bosh. And then the ref, because everybody's in the ring and it's all fucking a right humding. And then the Bushwhackers, which are fucking, you know, this dangerous team. It all gets thrown out. The referee calls for the bell. He's lost control. He don't know what the fuck's happening or who's legal or what's what. Butch comes in with a chair. The referee gets fucking flown over the place. It's fucking havoc in there. And then they double pile driver Joe Savaldi, you know, the brainbuster style, fucking push your legs kind of from the middle rope pile driver. Al gets handcuffed to the rope so he can't save Joe. Clearly leading to like a big kind of story because the Rock and Roll Rockers were tag team champions, of course. And I think these shows were mostly around sort of Boston area or, you know, that kind of way. But fuck it, I remember them vividly. I saw Dusty Wolfe on there with like a Ric Flair robe and his, you know, long blonde hair kind of. Buddy Rose was on him. With Kevin Sullivan and Mark Lewin, because I remember Kevin Sullivan's missus was woman, wasn't it? But I think she was called like the Fallen Angel or something. I was probably like, you know, 11 or something, looking at this woman in not a lot of clothes, thinking, fuck me, you don't get that in the catalogue. You know, just fucking proper. Wrestling educated my life at that age. You know what I mean? Because I didn't give a shit about school or anything else, but I'd do anything for wrestling. You know what I mean? I'd have skipped school or, you know, fucking do anything to get out of doing any work like school. But my mum would say, oh, well, if you don't, then you're not going to watch the wrestling. So I went to school. Do you know what I mean? That was my education as a kid. And I think that's why I'm so fucked up now, but I wouldn't change it. Where are we going now, mate?
Still UWF. This one, I'm not sure if this one was before or after this because none of them had a year on, but it's UWF anyway. It's against Ted DiBiase and Steve Williams.
Beautiful. That's who they won the belts off.
Yeah, this is the match where they win the belts. So yeah, it's for the titles. USA chants all over the place. Ted DiBiase and Luke start, end up in the heels corner with a tie-up. I quite like this start. So they're in the corner, Luke and DiBiase, fucking exchanging some shots and stuff. But then fucking both of the Sheephearders are hammering fucking hammering Dibiase. Then the other sheepherder gets in the ring, so both of them are in the ring now. Williams comes in, and then the heels are like, nah, fuck this. They jump out. When Williams comes in, they both fucking just scarper to the outside. So it leaves Dibiase in with Steve Williams just in the ring. Luke comes back in, takes over on Ted like momentarily, whips Luke off and gives him a massive punch. Boom! Fucking Luke powders, just one punch and he's fucking gone. Then Butch and Steve Williams are both tagged in now. The Dr. Death Steve Williams is fucking on a... Yeah, so Dr. Death is in on him. Then there's just a slugfest with Dr. Death and Butch just fucking nailing each other. Boom! Fucking proper slugfest, just beating the shit out of each other. Luke gets tagged back in. Then there's a big backdrop by Steve on Luke. Fucking sends him flying. They go to a commercial at this point. Then they come back from the commercial. And it's Steve Williams and Butch in the ring. Steve gives him a massive headbutt. Boom. Then Steve's in control. Big slam. Then Steve misses an elbow. Then they do a spot where Steve misses the elbow. And then he's up. He hits the ropes where Luke is on the outside. And Luke pulls him down by the hair. So Luke's standing on the apron. Steve Williams hits the ropes and fucking... You know, so instead of the leg trip, it's just like a fucking hair pull instead, or instead of the knee in the back, it's like a hair pull. Steve goes down. Heat on Steve Williams now. Steve Williams ducks the clothesline, then a massive shoulder, and you know his fucking shoulder tackles look like, oh, wouldn't want to be on the end of them. Fuck. Tags Ted in. Ted firing up on Butch. He throws one of the sheepherders into the other one. They collide. Dr. Death comes in, gives some football tackles like on the pair of them, like fucking them 3-point stance things. Boom, boom, knocks them down. There's a big schmoz now. I don't know what the fuck is going on or who's legal, but they're all in and stuff. Jack Victory, who's with the sheepherders, jumps up on the apron, waving the flag around and shit. Steve Williams goes over and knocks him off. Boom. So they're all four in the ring. And then Steve Williams goes over to the other side of the ring, where Victory's kind of positioned himself now. As Steve's fighting with Victory on the apron, the ref is there, like trying to fucking separate them and get Jack Victory back and get Steve Williams in the ring and stuff. But while all that shit's going on, Ted DiBiase's got a figure 4 on one of the sheepherders. I can't remember which one. But then the other sheepherder comes off the top rope with the flagpole. Boom on Dibiase. Fucking perfect time. And the referee turns round 1, 2, 3. And that's the fucking finish. So the sheepherders are the new tag champs. And it was a brilliant match. The crowd were like proper invested in it. If you like judge, I always say judge a fucking match by the crowd. Like obviously you're doing something right if the crowd are fucking loving it. And they were loving it. Absolutely. They were fuming when when that result went that way. Like there were some proper fucking angry people in that crowd. So.
Yeah, I mean, Dibiase and Williams were fucking gods in that area, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Like it's kind of funny to think of like Dibiase was another one with a gimmick in the WWF. Like you know, like it's kind of funny because he's known more for his $1 Million Man thing, obviously. And I remember reading in Dynamite Kid's book when he said that, like, he didn't understand why they gave him that gimmick because he was so good. Like, which I can understand, like, some ways because sometimes the gimmick, if you're that good a wrestler, the gimmick kind of takes away from how good you are. Like, sometimes, like, you know, like Rick Martel was the example. Like, people remember the gimmick. But he was so fucking talented. It's like the gimmick overshadows.
Ted and Rick Martel and stuff didn't have to change their styles to be those gimmicks, though, did they? I mean, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, is exactly the same style as the Rat Pack Ted DiBiase, wasn't he? Like,
yeah, he is. Yeah,
didn't change them at all.
No, like, they didn't necessarily change. It's just
you know, like,
eh?
They just give him another name, didn't they?
Yeah, they give them another name and like they put a gimmick to the name kind of thing. It's just like look at, you know, from like an outsider's point of view looking in, like a lot of people just kind of, you don't often hear people praise like Dibiase's wrestling, even though he's fucking phenomenal. We know how good he was, but it's just the gimmick, in it. It's like you kind of, you know, I guess Jake Roberts was the same, like, you know, but that's just what it was in like the late 80s, early 90s. Like they all had a gimmick in WWF. So you can say it takes away from.
At the end of the day, as well, it's the gimmicks you remember. It's not the wrestling. Like
That's it.
as
Yeah.
as a child, everybody remembers the gimmicks, but they don't remember maybe specific matches from those gimmicks. They just remember the gimmick, and you don't have to remember what matches they were in to buy a T-shirt or an action figure or a fucking magazine, do you? You know,
No.
so it's commercial, and you can't blame them for that. I mean, Akeem was probably one of the fucking biggest differences from the one man gang, right? But
Yeah.
as far as the WWF goes, who the fuck remembers the one man gang? Right?
Yeah.
What great did he do in the WWF? He was fabulous. I'm not shitting on him at all in any way, but everyone knows who Akeem is.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. But like it, yeah, no. But that's the thing about like say you go back to 1990 WWF, they all had a gimmick. You didn't get fucking, you know, Brad Smith in the fucking ring. You know what I mean? You had like everyone had a gimmick, and that's what you remember. Like, you know, that was Vince's fucking mastermind, like creative fucking idea. And people shit on him because, you know, ruined wrestling and all the rest of it. Fucking made millions and made people household names. So
Bosh, sorted. Right, next one. Excuse me. NWA Pro, 14th of May, 1988. So we're only a couple of months before signing with WWF now. Sheephearders versus the Lightning Express, Brad Armstrong and Tim Horner. If I don't watch a Brad Armstrong in every fucking episode that we do, then I have like some kind of seizure. Jim Ross is the ring announcer in this. Rick Morgan is with the Sheephearders. Teddy Long is the referee. Do you know what I noticed about the well, the Bushwhackers as baby faces and the Sheephearders as heels, right? Always loud, weren't they? The Sheephearders, they're always talking and fucking moving, you know, always talking. And the Bushwhackers always moving. You know, there's always some kind of fucking something going on. Like I'd be fucking blowing out my ring piece doing that, like before it even fucking started. But yeah, always moving. Rip does like this what's that New Zealand rugby fucking
the hacker.
yeah, Rip Morgan does that first before this, you know, match starts. Brilliant. Luke and Brad start proper tough ass lockup, which takes them all around the ring, sort of thing. Luke unloads a little bit. Brad fires back. Post Luke, Brad runs in, catches the boot. Luke goes up, which is fucking rare, isn't it? To the middle, and misses like a headbutt. Brad then with a drop kick, and we go to some adverts. We come back from the adverts, and Tim Horner is in, who's just ducked an elbow from Butch. Comes back with a drop kick, a slam on each of the Sheephearders, and then a big double noggin, and the Sheephearders powder from there. Back in the ring, Butch to the eyes of Tim Horner. A whip. Tim Horner ducks the line, comes back, sleeper by Tim on Butch. Luke cuts him off. Corner whip to Tim, a fucking big one, like a proper ring shaker, ring move, 3 foot. Double team to Tim. They throw him out the ring in the heel, proper like. The tag team wrestling was so good, and it was so sought after back then, wasn't it? You know, the tiny little like you see it a lot. They throw them out the ring, but it don't mean a shit where it is, or they do a bump, but it don't matter where it is, or you know they're choking on the ropes, but they don't matter where it is. But it's fucking vital stuff. You can't just throw people out willy nilly. It has to be in the right place, don't it?
Yeah,
But they throw exactly in the right corner. You know, every bump is in their half. You know, it's fucking genius. And people always think I'm being fucking picky, and I ain't. I just fucking I love tag wrestling, and when it's done good, it's fucking amazing.
I do. It's literally like I've got to a point now where, as much as I love wrestling, I think I'd rather have tag matches because it's a total different a different mindset. It's a totally different match, and it's just like you can do so much more with a tag match because there's obviously more people, and it's just like then if you had like a manager as well, you could even do more. It's fucking brilliant. Love it.
It's easier and harder at the same time. It's easier because there's more people, but it's harder because there's people. You know what I mean? It depends who those people are, and if everyone's on the same fucking ticket, then we're well away, aren't we?
I just quickly. I remember I was fucking. I was doing a tag match once, and going back a few years now. It was a fucking. It was a holiday camp show, so we just needed to do a simple little match. There was 4 of us in it, and at the end of the match, I realised we were on totally different fucking pages. But it was just the cutoff, like to start the heat on the face. And I can't remember what it was now, but I got the idea from watching something on TV. Easiest thing, easiest cutoff ever. And it just kept going wrong. And I was on the outside, like effing and blinding for everyone else in the match. Like, why the fuck is this not happening? Like, why? What the fuck is going on? and everyone backstage.
Sleep boot in the back, right?
You what?
Sleep boot in the back, yeah.
It was just a fucking something simple, and backstage I was like, "Why didn't that fucking work?" And everyone's like, "Oh, we should have just kept it simple." Like you couldn't get any fucking more simple, and it all went tits up. So yeah, you do need to have people on the on the same page as you, to be fair, because all that could happen.
It's really easy because there's 5 people, 6 with the manager, but really hard because there's 5 people, 6 with the manager. So back in the what have we done now? We've just done Tim Horner out of the ring. Back in the ring, Luke's got the chin lock on Tim. Tim gets up, he ducks the line, comes back with a shoulder block. Pow. Hot tag, in comes Brad. Brad's got so much fucking fire. Bish, bash, bosh. He backdrops every fucker out of all over the shop. There's a post in, Brad goes up and over. It's not a post, and I'm reading the wrong line. Brad gets slammed, attempt to. Brad goes down the back, waistlock roll up on one of the Bushwhackers, can't remember which, I haven't written it down. In comes Rip Morgan with the flagpole, boshes Brad Armstrong. There's a disqualification. It's a gang up now, isn't it? Because it's 3-on-2. Brad and Tim Horner are in all kinds of shit because the Sheephearders and Rip Morgan are barring them with the sticks and all sorts of shit, flagpoles. Johnny Ace makes the save, who they did mention it in the commentary through it that, formerly with the Sheephearders, now, making a stand on his Todd kind of thing. He comes in and makes the save. Beautiful. Just fucking simple tag match. Told the story of, the beasts at the end. Beautiful thing. Next.
My next one is my favourite one of all 4. They're now the Bushwhackers. So then the WWF now. It's on Wrestling Challenge, 24th of February, 92, against Skinner and the Brooklyn Brawler. This was fucking great, this. I know people be watching, like, before I talk about it, being like, Brawler and Skinner, but they don't understand because this is fucking. As soon as I seen this match pop up, I was fucking like, there we go, that's the one I'm fucking watching. So like the Bushwhackers here as well, so over, like fucking so over. Like, was this 92, February 92? So they're like probably the height of their WWF time, weren't it? Like, kind of. Brawler starts with Butch. Brawler goes straight on the attack. Works Butch to a corner, gives him them shoulders in the corner. Boom, whips off. Butch switches it. Butch switches the whip. Brawler ducks Butch's line. Oh yeah. So what happens is, right, so Butch gets whipped off, but he switches it. Butch throws a line at the Brooklyn Brawler. Brawler ducks Butch's line, running towards Luke. Luke's on the fucking apron, gonna throw a punch at the Brooklyn Brawler. Brawler sees it, so he fucking stops. Yeah, Brawler stops to get hit by Luke. Turns round, Butch is there, and pow, fucking nails him one. Fucking beautiful. Timing was fucking spot on. Yeah. Oh yeah. This was a cool spot. The spot carries on here. Actually, that's not the end of it. So what happens is, after he fucking avoids the punch by Luke, turns round, like I say, fucking Butch pops him one, boom. Then Brawler feeds around to where Luke is, by the ropes, and Luke just bites him on his ass as he's fucking selling the punch. So from the outside, to the inside kind of thing, which was a pretty cool spot, to be fair. It's quite funny. Hang on, but oh yeah, Butch does that spot that you're on about where he whips him to the ropes and gives him the knees and the guts. Yeah, he does that a little bit, then gives him a really nice knee lift. Brawler powders after the knee lift. I think where we are now, Butch. Oh yeah, so I remember this, but yeah, so Butch, the back at it, Butch gets forced to the opposite corner, to the heels corner, where both of them are there, fucking 2-on-1 now in the opposite corner. Luke comes in because obviously they're fucking teaming up on him in the corner. Then the referee gets Luke out, but then there's no tag. Skinner comes in, so they just do the tag behind the ref's back, and that starts the heat there. And then fucking boom. I've wrote great spot. Every time I write a great spot, something special is about to happen. I just can't remember what it is. So here we go. Right, hang on then. Oh yeah, this was fucking beautiful. Someone might shit on this, but I know you won't. This was good. So right, so where are we? Brawler takes the head of yeah, right, Brawler. All right, here we go. So Brawler takes the head. As Brawler's got the head, there's a blind tag by Skinner. So yeah, so Skinner tags, you know what I mean? So Brawler's got I think it's Butch. Yeah, Brawler's got Butch in the headlock. As Brawler's got him in the headlock, Skinner reaches in and tags himself in. So now Skinner's legal. So right, so let me just get this right. Yeah, so there's a blind tag by Skinner. Brawler shot off the ropes. So Brawler hits the ropes. Butch and Skinner both sleep. So as Brawler comes back, Butch and Skinner both sleep. Boom. Then Skinner, then Brawler comes back the other way. Then Skinner and Butch sleep again. So fucking Brawler's hit the ropes again. But as he comes back, Butch just fucking sidesteps him, and he fucking collides with fucking Skinner for both of them. Oh, that's one of them fucking spots where all three guys that we're saying got to be on the same page, because that shit can go wrong.
Monstrously fucking wrong, yeah.
But it's easy as...
When you think about rock and rolls and midnights and that, and they threw a fucking couple of fucking leaps in there and all. So, we've got a chance with this one.
It's so easy though. It really is. I'm thinking about it, thinking how can it go wrong? But then because it's me and I know shit that's gone on in the past, I know it can go wrong. So but it is really a really easy spot, a rare spot you don't see often. And yeah, it's fucking really, really nice that. So yeah, they bump into each other. Boom. Luke comes in, but there's no tag. He just comes in. They give him battering rams on both of them. Boom. Then the heels powder. Luke comes back in, but he's taking heat now. So they're giving Luke some heat. Skinner runs into a boot in the corner. The fucking Luke is in trying to get the tag after he's just put his boot up, but Skinner spits tobacco juice at Butch on the apron. Fucking Butch comes in, referee's trying to get him out, whatever. Heels take back over. Right, I've wrote lovely finish, so this must be quite nice as well. I remember this one actually. Yeah, real simple one. We'd have seen before a few times with tag matches. It's the old small package finish as fucking Brawlers. One of the Bushwhacker, Luke, I think, has got the small package on Brawler. Fucking as Butch is being put out of the ring, but Skinner comes in, turns it over. So he's reversed it. The referee's getting him out. Then the Bushwhacker comes in, turns it back over. Referee comes round.
The Rougeos and the Rockers do this.
Yeah. And then 1, 2, 3 for the finish, and that's how it finished. But this match was this was great. Skinner and Brawler arguing after it. And then a double knockdown by the Bushwhackers at the end of the match just to fucking get him out there. But I'm thinking this match was fucking. I loved the one before it with Dibiase and Dr. Death, but this I'd put up there because it had a bit of everything in it. There was a couple of funny bits in it, but it was really easy though. It was simple. There wasn't any everything in it was pretty simple and logical, and that it wasn't anything complicated, but it flowed really nice. And all four of them guys know what they're fucking doing, don't they? You can't really go wrong with it. But that was my favorite one of the four. Anyway, still one more to go though.
Right, my number 3, 22nd of March of 1993 from Raw versus Damien Demento and the Repo Man. Now I love me some Damien Demento. I ain't gonna lie. That shoulder garb that he wore, I want one. So there's Bushwhackers music playing. No Bushwhackers. Where the fuck are they? They're up on the balcony at the Manhattan Center, all fucking bushwhacking, aren't they? They come through the crowd, licking everybody. There's a big girl in the ring, those Raw ring girls that had the fucking. One of the big girls. She's in there, and the Bushwhackers are licking her. She's never looked happier, to be honest. Damien Demento and Butch start. They're advertising the march to WrestleMania. Now, what WrestleMania would 93 have been?
9.
Right. The march to WrestleMania is next Sunday from this, where the Bushwhackers will be joined by a midget friend. That's all we know. But I'm guessing that's Little Louie, because, that tended to be the thing, didn't it? Bushwhackers and Little Louie. Maybe Beverly Brothers and your mate Tiger Jackson. No, Little Louie was with the Bushwhackers. Tiger Jackson and Bushwhackers, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah.
Anyhow, Butch to the corner, unloads. Damien Demento misses. Butch comes back with an arse bite. Repo just about to fucking cut Butch off. Luke in, arse bite. Repo gets posted. Damien Demento goes into him. There's a double line on Repo, and out they go, the villains. There's all Bushwhacker dancing around the ring. Everyone's happy. Luke gets blindsided from the Repo. Bosh. I've put Luke's special posting because that's the only way I can describe it. Luke has this powerful posting that he takes, doesn't he? Have you seen it? He goes off his fucking 6 foot from the post, flings himself, and just it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, I've put Luke's special post in, boing, in he goes. Double team as the refs with Butch, Repo and Demento are after him. Damien Demento in charge now. I fucking love Damien Demento. I love the gimmick. I love that.
How he wasn't around for that long, really, was he? How long was he around?
We put Mondo Clean before that, oddly, in Savaldi's promotion that we looked at first. That ICW. It became IWCCW did Savaldi's promotion, and he was there a lot in the early 90s. As the Bushwhackers were there, I don't know whether they had an agreement with the WWF or whatever. Because I've seen Brooklyn Brawler on some, the Bushwhackers, Nikolai. I don't know whether they're Martel. I don't know whether they had an agreement with them, but yeah, same gimmick, but it was just called Mondo Clean with a K. I've seen some interviews and stuff with him from more recent years, and he's a bit of a fucking nutter, whether that's gimmick or not. But I just love the look, the fucking, the bit of hair at the back, and it just fucking look
proper gimmick.
Yeah. Luke posted, but comes out the post to shoulder Damien Demento, but both go down at that point. Repo comes in attacking. Luke ducks Damien Demento and comes back with like a fucking double thrust kind of chop. Both sides tag. Butch comes in, lining, noggin knocker on both. Repo goes out. Double line on Damien Demento, but Damien Demento ducks, too fucking clever for that. Repo trips the other, as the Bushwhackers carry on from the double line. Rico trips the one. Damien Demento cuts off the second. This is beautiful. Damien Demento is now in charge of both of them because they're both bumped, right? He goes to slam Butch. Luke pushes him, so Butch is on top for the pin, but he doesn't quite get the pin because Repo attempts the elbow, rolls off, and obviously catches Damien Demento. Battering ram to Repo. Beautiful finish. Jobs are good and everyone's happy. Thanks very much. See you later. Finger beauty.
All right, well, got one more, and I so this last one is from Superstars, 16th of March, 96. I almost forget that they're even around in 96, like in WWF. Like, was that like the last year there?
Yeah, 95, 96. They said it kind of went down bookings wise at that point, but they were still around.
Yeah, they've got a bit of a different look here. Same kind, camouflage still, but just different hats.
Yeah, it's like a lighter look, isn't it?
Yeah,
like the Hasbro figures of them wearing the lighter are fucking extortionate, aren't they, with the hats?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's a tag tournament match here against the Body Donners.
Okay.
I don't know if it's for the tag titles or whatever, but it's a tag tournament for something. So there we go.
Would this be the tag tournament that? What year? 96. Oh, I don't know. Would this be the tag tournament that Martin 123 Kid won? Or was that too late for that?
That was before this, weren't it? That would have been about 93, 94.
Okay.
I would have thought. 94 maybe. I'd say this was way later because 96, fucking Marty was doing that New Rockers thing, weren't he, with Al Snow? So
who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, jump start by the Body Donners. Got them in the corners. They whip the Bushwhackers into each other, but the Bushwhackers switch. Body Donners do a do-si-do, hill camp show styley. And then the Bushwhackers just pops the pair of them as they come back. Boom. Then a couple of double lines on each of them. Bam. They do a run spot where blind tag by the Body Donners. Butch ducks a line, then knocks down. Oh yeah, this was pretty sweet. This was so they do like a spot where I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it's Butch in the ring. So it's a blind tag by the Body Donners, but Butch kind of ducks the clothesline from the guy that's just came in, then knocks down both of them with double lines, or something like a line each or something. It was pretty smooth, really smooth how it worked out. And then he's working on Skip's wrist now with just like some arm stuff. Tags in Luke, quick tags on Skip. They do a run spot where Skip, hang on. I'm trying to understand what I've written down here. Hang on. Oh yeah, I do. I remember this bit. So they do a spot where Skip leaps, Luke runs, hits the ropes, but Zip's on the outside and he catches his foot. So Zip's on the floor outside, catches his foot. He doesn't trip, but he turns around and be like, what the fuck you doing? And then Skip nails him from behind. Boom. Then Luke goes to the outside. That starts the heat there and then. They come back in. Just general heat, really. It's quite a short match. I like going into a fucking little, a little hot tag from something so simple without, you know, the complex like fucking scenario. It's literally, he just misses 3 elbows. So literally Butch is on the floor. Oh, is it? Oh no, sorry, Luke's on the floor. He's taking the heat. I think I can't remember if it's Skip or Zip. It's one of them. But literally just misses 3 elbows. Goes for an elbow. Boom. Luke rolls away. And again, boom. And again, boom. Fucking then Butch gets tagged in. All 4 are in now. And there's double lines, everything going all over. Fucking a bit of a schmoz. Battering rams fucking here, there, and everywhere. Fucking the finish comes now as Sonny's distracting the ref on the outside. And then as Sonny's distracting the ref, Body Donna comes off the top rope as Butch is making the cover on someone. Body Donna just comes off the top rope. So he's covering. Yeah, Body Donna's on top of Butch. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then like fucking he nails the other Body Donna jumps off the top, boom, on the back of Butch. And then by that time, the fucking Sonny's gone back down, referee's turned. So they had them beat, but then fucking boom, off the top rope. So the Bushwhackers are down. But yeah, this was probably the weaker of the 4, but it wasn't like anything wrong with it. But I think the first match was kind of short and one-sided. So, but I don't know. But the middle 2 matches, match 2 and 3, were fucking phenomenal, especially that third match, so the one with Brawler and that. But this was all right though. I can't fault it. But I keep forgetting Bushwhackers were around there in '96. To be fair, but yeah, no, it was all right. Can't really knock it. But yeah.
Right, so I've got one more. This one's 2001 from one of Scott Conway's shows in Bath at the Bath Pavilion.
All right.
It's the Bushwhackers against Dusty Wolfe and Tagori.
Oh yeah.
No fucking secret. It's James Mason. I've got this on a DVD, right? And I got it because the amount of Americans on it. To be honest, I like to see how the Americans get on with the English in matches, really. You know, like how they jowl. And this is fucking Skinner is on this. Skinner right. And there's like a tournament, a 4-man tournament with Skinner versus Brookside, and James Mason as himself against Dusty Wolfe as Doink, and then it's James and Brookside in the final. James does 3 here with this match as well. There's Marty Jannetty against Billy Benoit. Don't know anything about Billy Benoit, but you know it's one of their lucky like Chris's. But he was a legit sort of Canadian or American or whatever. There was another tag which was full of local yokel fucking assholes, but we don't need to mention them. Yeah, just fucking a really good show on that fucking shit tag, like. But yeah, so in the original that I have on DVD, it was a Mad Eli production. So you've got Mad Eli's constant fucking jabbering through it. However, they've turned Mad Eli down, and this fucking what can only be described as a Mongol does the commentary over the top, and it's this woman that has no fucking idea about wrestling at all. It's like she's seen SmackDown 2 years ago and thought, I know everything. I mean, we don't have a fucking right to judge wrestling because what the fuck do we know? But this cunt has even less. She says things like, "Oh, you know, I had no idea more than one person played Doink." You know, because she said, "Oh, I did research on Dusty Wolfe and found out that he was Doink." I don't think I've ever seen James Mason wrestling. I'm not sure that I wasn't even sure the Bushwhackers wrestled in England. Just die, you know what I mean? Just die. Anyhow, Jerry Jones is the referee. He used to wrestle as Cowboy Carter. Anyhow, rode up. I'll turn the commentary down. I couldn't be doing other. I would have got so fucking angry at what is a beautiful match, isn't it? Like Dusty Wolfe always puts over the Luke because he said he gave him his first break in San Antonio when he was booking there. So this is a nice little sort of reunion here. And Tagori would have been, you know, James would have been relatively young at this point. So imagine being in there with the Bushwhackers and Dusty Wolfe, like, you know, early 20s. I suppose to him it was fuck all though, because he was around the All-Star Boys all the time and there was always big names. But you know, I'm a big wrestling fan, and I would have been marking it. Tagori attacks Butch, Bosh. There's a whip, there's a duck. Butch to the eyes, stomps on the foot, line. Tagori then ping pong between the two, fucking, you know, Bushwhackers. Wolfe in, gets posted. Both the villains run into each other. Dusty gets double lined, and out they go. Tagori gets in, trips over the middle rope. Butch and Tagori then whipped in for a double chop. Butch takes the arm. Luke in on the arm. Tag and a cut off, and Dusty is in. Tag on the mid. Oh, this is great, right? So Dusty's fucking hammering Luke in one corner. Tagori's like stood on the middle rope, fucking giving it all the shit, right? Dusty tries to whip Luke in. There's the reversal. Luke goes in, takes the post in. Sorry, Dusty goes in, takes the post in. Fucking Tagori kind of crotches himself on the top from the impact. And it's just fucking beautifully timed, beautifully done. You know, like this woman doing the commentary was, you know, not a kayfabe commentator. It was like she was blatantly opening the doors to wrestling. And I had it on until she said, "Look, he tripped over the ropes." Bloody hell, you know, like it was not meant to happen. Like, fuck off, die. Anyway, Luke, this was one of I've always rated this show. Like, there's not many in there, which is a real shame. Bath Pavilion was a legendary wrestling venue. Conway shows were always good. Other than that tag, can't win them all. Probably brought the ring, didn't they? And yeah, amazing show, and I'm really pleased I've got it on DVD because it's just so good to watch. But you've either got Eli or this fucking woman, and Eli's commentary grates my foreskin, but I'd rather have that on full blast than this fucking woman. Anyhow, road up. There's a leg drop by Dusty that he misses. Then there's a tiny little heat again after a cut off. Dusty ducks the line and lines Luke, just as a little sort of comeback. Luke tries a pin at some point, but there's an elbow from Dusty, and the old collision from the Repo match. All four are in. It says dust to tag, double line, both powder. I don't get that. I do. They're sort of backed up, like Dusty's there, Tagori's behind him. Double line one, double line the other, both powder. Dusty in and cuts off Butch. There's a fucking double elbow by the heels, double stuff then, heat's on. Dusty charges at Tagori. Dusty charges Tagori's shoulder into Butch, which is really cool. Very much like Brett did to Anvil sometimes,
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah.
That was very cool. Anyway, there's a hot tag to Luke. He comes in, pow, bish, bash, bosh. He's fucking hammering everyone. DDT to Tagori. All four are in. The heels run together. And a battering ram to Tagori. That's the finish. Easy as that. Simple, job done. Very well done. 4 total professionals. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
It's quite interesting to know, with with James Mason, for instance, because I remember when I worked with him and spoke to him and stuff, he was never into American wrestling. It wasn't his thing. He was always a British wrestling fan and stuff. So the fact that anyone can come over and he can fucking have these great matches with anyone just shows how good he is, because it wasn't something I'm sure he's seen some, but it was there's certain things he just never watched. He said he never watched Raw and stuff WWF if it wasn't for him. So when you get guys coming over and he can go out there and perform with people that he isn't even familiar with their style because it wasn't something that he was interested in, just shows how fucking good you are. Like, you know, if you can.
I mean, like the rest, because he's the same age as me, right? I'm 42 this year, so he's like the same age as me, and he must have been the area that he lived in must have been very wrestling filled live wise to get that British wrestling, fix, because there was no YouTube then, was there? You know, how did he get his wrestling? Because for me, I grew up on British wrestling, but you had no choice to become, but become an American wrestling fan, because there was no other British wrestling to watch after '88. And we had live wrestling in our town once a year when, initially Dale Martins came, and then, various people after that. But it was always once a year. It was like March or April every year. And that must have been the format, because it was always, no matter what promotion came, it was March or April. There must have been some sort of unwritten rule that, Worcester was done in March or April. Dixon did one, Neil Evans did two. Jake always did March or April. It was always March or April. But I had no choice but to go to American wrestling. There was no other option. If you wanted wrestling, that was all I had. So he's fucking great, James Mason. He deserves everything he's doing.
I always said that he's the best I've ever been in the ring with, and that's just I've said that to this day. Like, and I've been in there with some fucking real fucking great people, but I always just put him at the top. Like, and I've even said it to him as well, and like, I've put it on Facebook. I've never changed my mind, like, since I first thought that. Like, he really is that good. Like, and also like, he's one of the guys you could say is underrated, because when you have people all over Facebook and stuff saying, "Oh, this guy's the best wrestler in the UK," or "This guy's the best wrestler in the UK," like, no one ever mentions James Mason because he doesn't fucking match their criteria of what a great fucking wrestler is. But for me, they're all fucking wrong, because James is the best.
A lot of times he won't be on the list because he's not done that wrestling for everybody thing. How these sort of independent boys have to be seen on whatever the fuck promotion name is to get seen as one of the best. And that wasn't James. Well, it didn't seem to be James's sort of philosophy, because he was busy working for All Star.
Yeah, and something else that I figured as well, like, when they brought back World of Sport, they done that New Year's special, and then like James wasn't anywhere near it. And it's like, why? If you're gonna call it World of Sport, and it's clearly nothing like World of Sport, but to at least have some sort of similarities to World of Sport, because that's what it should be if they're taking that name, and they don't even have James Mason on it. Like, it fucking baffles me. Like, it really does, because he's the epitome of that style. So, but like
he was always busy. And I suppose his busy came from the loyalty with Dixon, I suppose, and you can't blame him. Any old road up, the Bushwhackers, fabulous. My favourite, I think, was my first. The Rock and Roll Rockers, Al Perez and Joe Savaldi.
Yeah.
Marvellous. Right, so next week, we're doing Monday next week with Rip Rogers, and then we'll have the rest of the week off because we're busy. And it's my birthday next Monday, I think, or Tuesday, I can't remember which. But if we start again the following Wednesday with Territory Day, which is yours of Grand Prix Wrestling, which makes not next Friday, but the Friday after Tag Team Day. And it's my choice. And I don't know whether we've ever spoke about it. We may have briefly, but I don't think we've had a major league discussion like we do on, Messenger about every wrestler that ever has existed. Started as the Southern Rockers, and then they became Well Done.
All right, yeah, okay.
I think a fucking fabulous team.
Yeah.
I became quite close friends with Rex towards the end of his life, and he was really cool. And he's one of them that you felt comfortable to talk to. Like, he messaged you just to ask you how you are, rather than, because he wanted to fucking come to England, so he's just become your friend. Do you know what I mean? That was never meant. It was just, he was just cool. So either the Southern Rockers or Well Done, either name. But there's shitloads of both on YouTube that I had a look yesterday. Yes, Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn, wasn't it? Which is Rex King and Steve Dole, as far as the Southern Rockers go. Yeah, so that's week on Friday. Rip Rogers on Monday. See you then. That's been the Bushwhackers, and they've been fucking brilliant.